What's good? Back again with another reaction to this video. We're gonna be reacting to Louisiana inmate escapes jail 24 hours after his family's unalived, and his mother is released. I know it's a mouthful, you know what I'm saying? No Diddy, but we're gonna go ahead and get into this video. We'll go ahead and see what's up, see what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the family. Original video link in the description, like always. You know what I'm saying? We always gotta include the original video, bro, because they deserve the recognition. Because people like me be reacting to videos and they not be giving credit where credit is due. You know what I'm saying? I ain't calling no one out. I'm just saying that's why I do it. Anyways, go ahead and get your ready. You know what I'm saying? I know it's already raw. I know you got a fat one. I know you got one of those wraps from the gas station on your way home from work. I know, I get it. It's Wednesday when you're watching this. So it's after work. You're on your way home, bro. You're thinking about kicking your boots off. You know what I'm saying? You probably got an old girl over there a little upset about something she did last night or over the weekend, bro. You ain't spending too much time with her. So right now, you're going to roll that blunt. Call her to go sit down, pick her feet up, massage her feet for her. You know what I'm saying? Let's show her some love, bro. It's okay to love your girl. You know, hey, roll up, spark up, and then we go react to this video together. Let's check it out. Come on, let's see what's up.
Nobody wins when the family feels.
It's Ashton for his dad.
So who's this?
He don't know where you may be, and I don't want to keep on wondering where you may be.
Antoine.
Lee W. Taylor and so that's his grandfather. So that's probably the son. So that's a grandpa. So the dad's dad. Okay.
I'm begging you, son. I'm broken. Please get in touch with Reverend Brown, your grandfather, your aunties, your sister, somebody, and turn yourself in. I need you.
Oh, so he was on the run?
Antoine escaped. The dude got killed that killed his daddy. So, his family, that was a headline news the day before. So his family found that out. That was like justice for his family, man. They killed his daddy in front of Antoine, his mama, and his siblings.
Wait, is he one of the ones from Georgia that escaped? Hold on. Before we get into that, hold on.
Dude got killed that killed his daddy. So, his...
Yo, that's one of the ones that escaped from Georgia. And you know what's crazy? Is Annabelle, they said not to move Annabelle, the doll, the scary demonic doll that's freaking possessed, was in Atlanta, Georgia. Not Chicago, but Atlanta, Georgia. Was in Georgia when this happened. So that's crazy. That what a coincidence. The dog is still alive. Bro, what? Am I tripping? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's what he says.
But before I was in Unalived Parish, I was in a jail called St. Tammany Detention Center.
Yeah.
Alright. St. Tammany Jail here, man. St. Tammany Parish. There's two different parishes, Unalived and St. Tammany. Okay. Today what I want to talk about is that I was on second-degree kidnapping, second-degree rape, domestic abuse, battery involving strangulation, domestic abuse, battery, violation of protective order, right? On this woman right here, her name is Diamond White.
At the streets of New Orleans, time it can feel like fate.
What?
This is one day before the most brazen jail escape in recent memory. One of the two men who's yet to be apprehended, Antonio Massey, his father killer, was allegedly killed. Less than 24 hours later, Antonio Massey Jr. vanished from behind bars. One of the 11 inmates who walked straight out of the Orleans Parish Justice Center in broad daylight. Now, within the last 24 hours of me doing this video, most of us already heard a lie that Antonio Massey had put out, elaborating on his recent charges, why he was incarcerated, how he allegedly escaped, and what he's seeking for before turning himself in. Now, if you haven't checked that out, don't worry, I got you for this video. But the reason I'm putting this video out,
we gonna check that out, bro.
After going over Antonio Massey's story, we talking about a man who witnessed his dad get gunned down in front of him. His mom do more than a decade in jail, and he talked for her in court and pleading for her release, which we'll later check out and go over the details. Not to mention his sister recently got arrested for allegedly helping him escape. And with everything going on with this family, his aunt spoke up via social media as well a couple days ago, which we'll later check out. And after going over the details of this man's family, those words hit a little different. So without wasting too much time on this intro, I want you guys to remember, I won't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. Find me Shady Rat, a long-term friend of Antonio Massey's father, Massey Sr. He did an interview on a Red Report, talked about how Antonio Massey used to run with Lil Wayne's stepfather, Rabbit, and also a man whose death changed everything for his family. Now, in order to understand Antonio Massey Jr., you have to go back to the story of his father, a man who moved in the same circle as Rabbit, as we just mentioned, the father of the rap icon Lil Wayne. This was considered the 90s in New Orleans. Hard, fast, and unforgiving. A friend, as we just talked about Shady Rat, who we'll briefly hear from, remembers Antonio Sr. is not a criminal, but a loyal man, a street legend with morals. He went into detail and spoke about something that Antonio Massey's aunt had later confirmed, which was Antonio Sr. was gunned down in front of his son, Junior. And let's be real, fam. That kind of trauma doesn't fade. It get deep. And so when word spread that his father killer was found dead just a day before his escape, some say that's not a coincidence. Others say it's a motive.
The day before Antoine escaped, the dude got killed that killed his daddy. So, his family, that was headline news the day before. So his family found that out. That was like justice for his family, man. They killed his daddy in front of Antoine, his mama, and his sibling. So, you know what I'm saying? And they had all of them at gunpoint. So that was like justice for his family. Then the next day when he escaped, it's like, they were celebrating the fact that finally he got justice for his son, street justice, but it was justice in his own, because the little dude got exactly what he did.
That's true, bro. It is street justice, and sometimes that's the best form of justice, because it goes to show that if the law or whoever it is that people, the law and all them, thinking that they're the mediator and the peace handler, whatever it is, and they ain't doing their job, bro, people are going to take matters into their own hands. So it is a coincidence that he did escape. I hope they're trying to pin that on him, because he did escape a day after, so they can't really say it's him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's that doll Annabelle, bro. They ate that one, what's her name, Lorraine or whatever, from freaking Insidious, but the actual real one from real life. She said not to move that doll, bro. That doll looks like one of those old school freaking yarn dolls from back in the day, old McDonald looking ass doll. And all of a sudden they take it to Atlanta and all this nonsense starts happening. It's crazy. Don't mess with none of that, bro. Jesus Christ is king. You know what I'm saying?
You know what he did to daddy. So with that being said, they was rejoicing justice for their son. The day before the escape happened, the dude that killed little Antoine daddy, the dude that killed big Antoine, had just got killed the night before little Antoine escaped.
Yeah.
Of Lil Wayne's dad, stepdad, Rabbit, and a guy that looked just like Massey.
Yeah, that's big Antoine, man.
Antoine.
Like, his daddy was involved in a lot of things, like, and I ain't talking about nothing illegal or nothing bad.
Dude out here?
He just was a person that was heavily involved. Like, he brought a culture to New Orleans. His daddy was one of the first, I think the first dude with hydraulics in the city. If not the first dude in the East, for sure, with hydraulics. And his daddy was we used to call him the Mexican, because he used to he did rabbit hydraulics on his El Camino. You know what I'm saying? Twine used to do a lot of stuff. He used to be in the low.
Now we're gonna stop it there. We don't want to spoil the Red Report interview. You guys should go over there and check the entirety out. If you guys want to do so, shout out to them. So now
and I encourage that too, bro. I ain't gonna link. If I can find the channel, I'll link them also. I'll pin them in the first comment, or put a link to their channel in the comment. But I encourage you to check them out too. You know what I'm saying? Just like how you're gonna check out The Family.
Got a
TV.
good idea on who Antonio Massey dad is. May he rest in peace. Let's talk about Antonio Massey mom, who went to the news and said this when finding out her son had escaped jail.
It's asking for his dad. He don't know where you may be, and I don't want to keep on wondering where you may be.
Antoine, I'm begging you, son. I'm broken. Please, get in touch with Reverend Brown, your grandfather, your aunties, your sister, somebody, and turn yourself in. I need you.
Now, that was the voice of Shaquita Massey, Antonio Massey's mom. Now, fam, she been through a lot herself. She been incarcerated for over a decade for a murder that took place in 2010. The exact date was April 22nd, 2010, with the victim being identified as 38-year-old Carlo Jackson. Carlos Jackson was fatally shot in the 7th Ward, not long after a woman he allegedly robbed ordered a group of young men to get her money back. Jackson, 38 years old, a convicted armed robber, he died in the 2400 block of Allen Street on April 22nd at around 12:40 a.m. from a gunshot
looks like a
wound to the
hood
head.
too, bro. You got that corner store right there with the brick wall. There probably been a lot of bodies that dropped out here. RIP to all of them, but you got the apartment on top of that, bro. They own.
And at the
That's
time,
crazy.
authorities had arrested 3 suspects in the killing. One of them being Shaquita Massey, who was 38 years old at the time. But fam, was she also a victim of this crime? Well, that's for you to tell me in the comments. But Shaquita was the woman who alleged Jackson had robbed her. She was booked with being a principal to second-degree murder. Now, 2 brothers was also arrested. Brian McDonald, 20 years old, and Blaine McDonald, who was 18 years old. And they were charged with second-degree murder. But
why is a 38-year-old being with the 18 and a 20-something-year-old?
apparently, the boy's father, who accused Massey, their cousin, of lying about the boy's involvement in the killing to win concessions for herself. According to court records, Massey admitted during an interview with detectives that she told at least 3 of the young men that someone had robbed her. She said she wanted their help finding the robber and recovering her money. Massey told detectives that she drove one of their cars from her home in the 9500 block of Springwood Street in eastern New Orleans across town to the corner of Island and Hope Street to look for whoever robbed her. When the 3 men spotted Jackson, they grabbed 2 assault rifles and a handgun from the car trunk and approached Jackson from behind, spraying bullets at him. Officers wrote in the police report that was filed in court during that time. Jackson, who court records show, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison for a 1992 armed robbery conviction. He was dead before emergency help had arrived. He left behind a son, his parents, and 5 siblings. May he rest in peace. 11 condolences to his family. Massey drove the young men back to her home before they separated.
But see, why is you 38 robbing people? You know what I'm saying? I get it's a struggle out there, but you old enough to know what you should and shouldn't be doing. You know what I'm saying?
As the murder investigation unfolded, detectives learned that someone had seen Massey drive a rust-colored Chevrolet Suburban.
Bro, she has a big-ass forehead. I'm just looking at that right now. She looks like Corey Baxter's dad from fucking Corey in the House or That's So Raven, bro. It looks like the dad, the chef one.
From the murder scene. They soon received a tip from an anonymous source that Massey planned to leave New Orleans for Texas. Officers headed to Massey's home, took her to police headquarters for an interview, and they obtained her version of events. She was later booked in jail by 1:27 a.m., where a judge set her bond at $300,000. After speaking with Cassie, that's how investigators got Blaine and Bryson. The members of NOPD's Special Operations Division served an arrest warrant at McDonald's family home in the 7600 block of Wade Drive in eastern New Orleans at around 9:30 p.m. Bryson McDonald was arrested at the home. Blaine McDonald, a senior at ller McMain High School, was at a friend house printing a term paper. Donald White, the brother's father, he was in disbelief. And after discovering his oldest son was in custody, White drove Blaine McDonald to police headquarters to surrender him at around 1:45 a.m. Now, they ain't speak, and they was processed in jail about 3 hours later and booked on also a $300,000 bond. Now, reached by telephone that evening was Donald White, the father, who argued that Massey wrongfully linked his sons to the crime. He said they both were at his home the night Jackson had lost his life. Now, Blaine McDonald has not previously been arrested in New Orleans. Court records show he played football at McMain, and his father said his son planned to apply at Nicholas State University. Bryson McDonald, meanwhile, made his living cutting grass and fixing cars. He graduated from McDowell, number 35 high school a year after police unsuccessfully linked him to a high-profile carnival parade route shooting. Just to give you a little background story on that, 5 people were hurt in that shoot out-of-state woman, and an 18-year-old man who detectives believe was the intended target. Bryson McDonald and another young man started running from the chaotic scene, and officers arrested both after several people in the crowd pointed them out. Eventually, prosecutors decided against charging him and his companion because of lack of evidence, witness cooperation, and other evidence issues. As far as the brother's dad, White, he pled for investigators to not trust Massey, who'd been previously arrested for possession and attempting to distribute C, but never convicted. The father quoted, "These boys are respectful young men. It's a crying shame you can just take her word and lock those boys up." Now, Massey was sentenced to 14 years. 2 years ago, she had a parole hearing, and also who spoke up and was in attendance was Antonio Massey Jr. on behalf of his mom. Check it out.
My name is Shakita Maria Massey. My DOC number is 614444. I was outside selling drugs and Carlos Jackson walked up to me, robbed me, and I asked him to spare my life, and he said he just wanted the money. And he ran off. I left the scene, went home. On my way home, I was calling everybody, letting everybody know I got robbed. When I got to the house, my cousins pulled up and told me, get in the car with them, come with them. We was going back to the scene. We went back to the scene of the crime, and someone went called Carlos out of the house that he was in, and we got out of the vehicle, and when we got out of the vehicle, they walked down there, and shots was fired, and they told me start the car. We started the car, and we pulled up. I pulled up.
Damn.
Miss Massey, do you regret making that decision that day?
Yes.
All my sisters, I'm asking for y'all please do a change back in society. That's it. That's it.
All right. I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
Asking you to let her go home. That's it. Bro, you're supposed to be pleading for your mom's life up there. What the fuck is you doing? That's it.
And finding out less than a year later in May of 2025, her son would escape jail. She was going through it. But then the aunt had spoke up because she knew Antonio's parents can't. Check out what she had to say.
Antoine, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to your video and I see your video. I'm just happy to see that you are alive and not dead. Alive and not dead. But I know you a survivor. And I know God's words are real and they are powerful. I know that hearing your mama verse and my daddy verse was going to soften you. And I know you see how I done jumped out there in that water with you. Pastor Brown them have all this set up already for you. Call them. Call Pastor Brown now. Him and the major man who be in the courtrooms with all the heavy cases is willing to walk you in, son. I know you saw the videos. I know you see me how I done jumped in that water with you. Call him.
I ain't gonna lie. If I was one of the ones who escaped allegedly, bro, and I had to like, you know what I'm saying? Second chance to lie. I don't know if I forgot what he was booked for. I ain't gonna lie. But I mean, if you're out there and you're trying to prove an innocent or get a point across, hey, let me get my point across, then you can lock me back up and continue on whatever we'll do. But bro gets caught, he's getting charged with that escape and all that, and you know they're gonna add like probably decades, bro. They're adding years onto his sentence.
Just 24 hours after that live, Antonio Massey would go live himself and detail all that's going on as he cried for help.
That was let out the GC. What I want to talk about.
Okay, bro, shaky ass camera. First of all, bro, why does this video look like one of those cartel videos where they're about to behead him before, you know what I'm saying, they send the video out and all that? It is. Get a better camera, bro.
As far as why I was in Orleans Parish Jail, I was in custody for almost 8 months. All right, 6 months, something like that. I was in there for theft of a motor vehicle and domestic abuse involving strangulation. That's what I was in Orleans Parish for. Okay, but before I was in Orleans Parish, I was in a jail called St. Tammany Detention Center. All right, St. Tammany Jail here and St. Tammany Parish. There's two different parishes, Orleans and St. Tammany. Okay, today what I want to talk about is that I was on second-degree kidnapping, second-degree rape, domestic abuse, battery involving strangulation, domestic abuse, battery, violation of protective order, right? On this woman right here, her name is Diamond White. That's her name. This is a district attorney drop form right here. And she's not a child, she's an adult, a full adult. I was dating this woman. This is a legalized affidavit saying.
Oh, so he got framed by homegirl, his ex, and had him locked up over a bunch of accusations. Bro, why is they believing what's her name's over actual proof? If this just as he said, she said, bro, there's a lot of women out here that be pointing the fingers over a false allegation, and people be losing careers, even their lives over that, bro. It's crazy. And a lot of them walk free, bro. Free Tory Lanez. That's a prime example.
All allegations against me is false. All allegations against me is false. I was nowhere around her and none of that during the timing of the date, which was November the 10th of 2024. Okay, so I was in Centennial, right, and I was on a regular domestic charge, right. So they put a parole hold on me because I was on a domestic charge. So that being said, is that once that occurred, and the charges was refused or whatever, they shipped me to Orleans Parish where I had more open charges, was the theft of a motor vehicle and the domestic abuse, battery, involving strangulation. So once I got in Orleans Parish jail, all right, I have from the district attorney's office, this woman who they say that I initially raped in another parish and in Orleans Parish is the same woman here. It's not different females, it's the same grown woman, not a child, a grown woman. Okay, she did the same thing in Orleans Parish, right? Correct. I'm about to show you how the system is corrupted. Okay, she did this, right? Saying all allegations against me is false, and she even saying it. You know, she let her know the truth that I never did this to her. I never hit her. I was nowhere around her. Nothing. She got mad and thought that I was dealing with another woman. That's why she did what she did to me. You know what I'm saying? Another thing too. Once
I ain't gonna lie, I think it's wild that bro, there's proof. Some courts they need to work off logic, bro. They need to stop being bought, especially out there if it's in Atlanta or Louisiana and all that, bro. All those Democratic states, they ain't Democrat. You know what I'm saying? It's all corrupted, bro. They gonna try to do whatever it is that they want to do to get you locked up, to get you to stay locked up, bro. They don't believe in due process or proper justice and whatnot. So if what he's saying is true, and homegirl really did lie, you know what I'm saying, and he's showing receipts, because he's showing receipts and facts, bro. They need to re-look into whoever prosecuted him and all the, you know what I'm saying. People need to be held accountable. I ain't gonna lie, bro. 2025, it's accountability year. Everyone needs to stay and be held accountable, bro. My personal opinion. A lot of people ain't accepting accountability these days, and that's wrong, bro. It's real wrong.
Once I got into Orleans Parish, I was there for like a month or something like that. Okay, a lot went on as that time progressed. Okay, if you was an innocent person and you know the judges and DA know that this person is saying that all the charges that you're on that you did not do, why was you still in jail? Louisiana have the highest incarceration rate in the world for putting black people away. Yes, at the end of the day, in my younger life, I'm not gonna lie, I was causing problems. I was young. My daddy got killed when I was 7 years old. My mom had to raise 4 children by herself, so I had to find a way to try to help my mother. You feel what I'm saying? But as time went on, the person that I once was, I'm not that person today. That is not who I am. I have a 3-year-old son. I have an 18-year-old daughter that graduated yesterday, supposed to be. At the end of the day, that people don't understand that they see that I'm armed and dangerous. I have a heart. People that know me know that at the end of the day, I am a good person. So I'm asking for
Everyone
help
says that, though.
from the world, from
Right.
Meek Mills, Lil Wayne, Young Boy,
But what they gonna do though? That's the thing. You're asking for help, but what do you want them to do, bro? Do you want them to share you want them to, you know what I'm saying? I'm reacting to this, bro, so hopefully if your allegations are false, but if they're true, I'm gonna take that back and we ain't dabbing up no more. You know what I'm saying?
I'm asking for these people. I couldn't even get a lawyer. I couldn't even afford a lawyer to prove my innocence while I was in Orleans Parish jail. They say that I broke out. I didn't break out. I was let out. My name is Antoine Massey. The guy who said that I threatened him with a shank, the maintenance guy, how could I threaten you with a shank? If you can't come around me, you're a maintenance. You cannot come on the tills without a deputy being behind you. Because if they just let you on the till, you could be persuaded to bring drugs or anything like that nature. So how can I threaten you to jail you? And why you didn't notify the people, the police, that if I did threaten you, you never did that. Like, you flat out lied on me.
Yeah, that's true. Where's the police report on that, right? If that's what he says, what he said, but where's the police report to prove that he had a poker up his back to like, hey, bro, you better whoop-de-woo or whoop-de-woo's gonna whoop-de-woo, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Flat out lied on me. And I want to let the media know that from the straight tattoos in my face and things of that nature, of course they're going to believe Sterling. You know what I'm saying? I never told Sterling nothing. I'm willing to take a lie detector test and everything behind that. But that's another subject. Orleans Parish is one of the corruptedest jails. That in St. Tammany Parish is the corruptedest jails in the state of Louisiana. Why was I even incarcerated with a woman saying that this never happened? This is this woman's name. This is the charge, domestic abuse discrimination. This is about the shit in St. Tammany. Why was I in Orleans Parish? Why was I even in jail? That's what I'm trying to show y'all. That's why I left the jail. And they have a lot more brothers that's innocent, just like me, that's trying to prove their innocence. That's why they ran. Jason Williams, the sheriff, Susan Hudson, these people are corrupted. These people was talking to St. Tammany and telling St. Tammany they gonna sentence me behind this, and telling St. Tammany if they can't give me, St. Tammany gonna get me. You see what I'm saying? Behind a woman that's a grown adult that never stated that I ever raped her. They have a detective that's over the case that's trying to pursue charges on me because of my prior history. Who I was in the past is not who I am today. So I'm asking for the media. I don't even have a lawyer to help me. I'm asking for help. That's why I ran. You feel me? I'm a grown man. I have kids. I have a mother. I have a baby mother, a child, my children mother. Like,
if he's telling the truth, bro, free him. Hopefully he stays free and gets pardoned. You know what I'm saying? Trump pardoned NBA YoungBoy and Larry Hoover, bro. He could pardon Dog if it's true. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if he has proof and receipts and what he's saying is true, they need to investigate those two Louisiana jails and prisons and the laws and everyone that's over there, bro. Then this would be a crazy shakedown, and I hope this right here rustled some feathers and shake some trees, because that's wrong, bro. A lot of these institutions and whatever, I ain't trying to attack them, but there's good ones, but I ain't saying good ones, but there's some that follow the rules and there's some that don't, and the ones that don't follow the rules be getting away with a lot and more, and be taking tax dollars and be getting granted and government grants and bailouts and whatever, bro. Defund all of them is what I'm trying to say. Especially if they're corrupt, bro. They need to defund all of their departments to have like a stake in whatever the corruption is. You know what I'm saying? Personally, that's what I think. In GTA, allegedly.
Like, it's a lot going on, and that's why I ran. I need help. You feel what I'm saying? Orleans Parish and St. Tammany is one of the corruptest parishes in the world.
I think that's all I was going to keep saying. But anyways, bro, that's crazy. If y'all made it to the end, I appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? It's wild. We're going to keep some updates. I'm going to update y'all as more updates come out. What do y'all think, though? Do y'all think he's innocent? Do y'all think he's telling the truth? Do y'all think he's lying? Me, personally, judging by how he has paperwork and the way he's explaining it, could be innocent. Could be the reason why he's saying he escaped. You know what I'm saying? But then there's also people who are professional liars, so you can't really... You feel me? But anyways, if it's true, hopefully Doc does get out, and everyone else that's involved in this story who passed away, may they rest in peace. Always got to pay homage and condolences. And with that, gang, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. Hopefully you already rubbed your girl's feet. You already, you know what I'm saying? And now you're on your way to the room. Hey, Ruka, let's go to the... You know what I'm saying? We out, gang.